Hi, today we've got Srinivas Ramanathan from EG Innovations. Hi, Srinivas. Welcome. Appreciate it.
Hi, Jeff. How are you? Good to
Pleasure.
be here.
Thanks for joining me. So tell me a little bit about your role at EG Innovations, and then more importantly, also tell me what EG Innovations is all about.
So I'm the founder and chief executive officer of EG Innovations.
Okay.
EG Innovations is an independent software vendor. We focus on delivering products that enable our customers maintain and manage their applications running on top of IT infrastructures.
Okay. And when were you founded? How long have you guys been in business? How many clients do you have? Do you service clients everywhere? Tell me a little bit.
Yeah, sure. We started EG Innovations in 2001. So we've been around for about 16 plus years now.
Okay.
About 200 people in the company. Our focus is essentially from our inception has been on monitoring performance of applications running on IT infrastructures.
Right.
We are headquartered out of Singapore.
Okay.
Sales and support offices across the globe. We have offices in the US, UK, Netherlands, Hong Kong, Singapore, and we do our research and development out of India.
I see. Very cool.
We have over 1,000 customers spread over about 45 different countries. We work directly with customers as well as through a network of channel partners and distributors across the globe.
Okay, very cool. And in this crowded field, how do you really differentiate yourself from your competitors?
That's a good question. So the performance monitoring space has been around for about 20 plus years now.
Right.
I think there are about 200 plus tools out there that do performance monitoring. So differentiation is a huge challenge.
Right.
There are many tools that are niche players. That means they do one thing very well. They can monitor, say, Oracle really well and be good at it.
Right.
There are other tools that are very broad and go end to end. Now, the typical competition on the end-to-end space can be the big guys like HP, BMC, CA, and so on.
Okay.
Basically, there are three differentiators for our products. First is reach. If you compare us against the niche tools do one thing well. Our goal is to be able to solve the IT administrators' toughest problems today.
Okay.
If you think about it, probably 15 years ago when we got started, the focus was on looking at resources, CPU, memory, disk, how busy are these? And if your CPU is good, you're doing a good job. Today, that's no longer the case. IT managers are measured by how happy their users are. So it's user experience that determines whether you're successful or not. And that's where we come in. When the user says, my application is slow, IT managers need to be able to determine quickly where is the problem. Is it in the network? Is it in the database? Could it be the application? Where is it? So to be able to answer that problem, you need to cover a broad spectrum. You need to monitor the network. You need to monitor your server. You need to look at the database, application code. So the reach across all the tiers is one of our key differentiators against niche products.
Okay.
The second differentiator tends to be depth. If you think about how customers evaluate a monitoring tool today, it's not about just throwing up a graph on a screen with data. You need to be providing intelligence. So you don't need an expert to use the tool. And to be able to do that, the tool needs to be deep. It needs to have domain intelligence built in. And that's our second differentiator.
Right.
The third one is speed to resolution. When you put a tool in, you want it to be an automated cockpit. You want it to lead you to where the problem is, not give you a lot of data and say, go find it. Right. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, these are some of the capabilities we put into our tool in order to be able to give you that speed to resolution. So in summary, our three main differentiators are reach across tiers, depth, domain expertise, and third, speed to resolution, which is automation.
Very good, very good. So you see this change that's happened over the last 20 years. And sometimes companies are visionaries in terms of, yes, you've got these differentiators today, and these sound like amazing differentiators. Where do you really see this 5-10 years from now in terms of even providing additional value? And what is your company doing about that to provide value for your clients?
So one of the big challenges has really been figuring out how technology is going to evolve. When we got to give you an idea of how long it's been since we got started, I was thinking about this the other day. In 2001, when we got started, the cell phone industry was in its infancy. So we had mobile phones, and that's it. It wasn't like your smartphone of today. You couldn't access the internet. So that's, imagine the pace of evolution in those 15 years. It's really hard to imagine what's going to come in the next 5-10 years from a technology standpoint.
Okay.
But one thing that has been constant for us as a vendor, and the reason we've been successful for so many years, is you need to reinvent yourself. Your core principles remain the same, but every few years, you're challenged by new technology challenges that come about. For example, if you look back over the last 15 years that we've been in existence, thin client computing, virtual desktops came into prevalence. We started to look at some of the challenges that having diskless clients posed in our corporate networks. Then we had virtualization, VMware, and companies like that became prevalent. And we started to look into what are some of the challenges that virtualization brings into IT infrastructures.
Right.
Then the cloud computing era started. And we had AWS and Azure and others come in, and we needed to look into how these technologies impacted IT environments from a performance monitoring standpoint.
Right.
Today, people are saying virtual machines are too slow. They're static. They're talking about containers that can come and go within a few seconds. So we're starting to look at some of the challenges in that space. So for me to predict 10 years down the line what is going to be relevant there is very difficult. But all I will say is any technology vendor, and we're no exception, has to be looking proactively into what the trends are, how the industry is shaping, and especially from a monitoring tool vendor, we need to be watching where the technology evolution is and adapting our technology to meet those challenges.
Sure, I can appreciate the unknown. So tell me a little bit, let's divert this a little bit and talk a little bit more about your product. Tell me a little bit about your pricing model and how it compares to your competitors.
So when our pricing model is designed to be simple. When I first started, I used to work for Hewlett-Packard in the research labs several years ago. And when I first started with Hewlett-Packard, they had a tool called OpenView. And if you look at the portfolio of OpenView's products, it would be 120 products, each with a different part number and a price list. And pricing was based on what do you want to monitor? Right. And do you have 1 CPU, 2 CPUs, 4 CPUs? That's pretty much standard from a monitoring tool standpoint. So what we've tried to do with our licensing model has been simplicity. How can I avoid giving you 120 part numbers? How can I avoid asking you the question, how many processors are you going to have? In today's environment, infrastructures are dynamic. You might have 2 processors today, 4 processors tomorrow on the same server. Your workload might be different. So asking you to upgrade your software just because you added a couple of processors is not the right model from our perspective. So we've tried to make our licensing real simple. Count the number of servers in your infrastructure. That's the number of licenses that you need. Okay. So we call this our universal monitoring technology. One piece of software that you install on all your servers that gives you all the visibility, irrespective of the type of application you're running, the type of operating system you're running, the number of processors you have on your server. So simplicity has been our goal from a licensing standpoint. Now, from a pricing model standpoint, our pricing model is designed, we support both perpetual and subscription, pay-per-use kind of licensing. So it could be used by a corporate, you can buy the software, install it on site. You can also, if you're a service provider, you don't have to buy the software. You basically have a pay-per-use model with us. So as you get more customers, you pay us more money depending on the number of licenses in use. The pricing also depends upon the number of servers you have, what you're trying to monitor, and so on. Roughly, pricing tends to be between $2 to $4 per user per month. Whether you're on a perpetual model and you're paying maintenance year on year, look at the amortized cost over 3 years and you're probably going to end up at the same number. So pretty affordable for both a small enterprise as well as for a large customer with a fairly complex environment.
Okay, simplicity and affordability. I like it.
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about what you've got a large customer base.
Yep.
the what are the top two complaints? I hate to use that word, but what are the top two challenges you feel that you need to go ahead and address as your software stands today? What is a constant theme you're hearing from your customers in terms of room for improvement that you're hearing right now from your customer base?
So I'd say two things, right? One is technology evolution is constant. No two customers are exactly the same. So every customer may have 80% of their technology may be standard, but there's another 20% that's probably unique. So as a vendor, one of our challenges has been keeping pace with what customers have. Particularly, this is true in the storage industry. Every customer has a different type of storage vendor, storage device they have, and they want monitoring for it. So we're constantly trying to keep pace with the pace of evolution of the industry, and that's one area where I think we have room for improvement from a product standpoint. What makes it more challenging is just the fact that, particularly in the storage industry, there is no standard. So it's not like network gear, which all support SNMP, and you can basically use one protocol and manage all the different tiers. Storage, that doesn't seem to be the case, and so that's a challenge. The second big focus for us is user interface, ease of use. You might have the best engine around, but if you can't present a simple enough interface to the user, you're not going to be successful. Right. And that's something we learned the hard way. When we started, we were probably not the easiest to use tool. Today, with several evolutions, we've come a long way, but there is always room to do better. So we're constantly looking at how can we change our product and make it simpler and attractive for users so they can get to the data they need. I would say those are our two main areas of improvement from a product standpoint.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we certainly drive a ton of traffic to our website, and I highly, highly recommend people, our visitors, to check you folks out if they're looking for an application monitoring service, and check out EG. Now, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Go to our website, www.eginnovations.com, and you'll find all the details you need. If you're ever running into a situation where your users are complaining that your application is slow, we are one of the key tools that you need to be looking at to help you with this.
Sounds good. Well, I certainly appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, Chief. It was a pleasure talking to you.